What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Matchday 1, the World Cup Fantasy Matchday 1 deadline stream. How are you guys doing? Are you guys ready? World Cup is here. It's going to be very, very exciting. I am super thrilled, super excited to get the World Cup Fantasy. Of course, bring in the World Cup as well. It's going to be a huge tournament, big tournament, lots of controversies, lots of conversations have already started happening. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But of course, we are here for right now for the World Cup Fantasy deadline stream for match day 1. There is a lot of confusion, there is a lot of doubts. I know a lot of you are kind of confused in terms of what to do, what transfers to make, which players to kind of go for, what are the rules. Trust me, even I'm slightly confused in terms of the rules, in terms of transfers, etc. There have been a lot of there have been some revisions very recently. There have been some updates regarding the rules as well. So we'll talk about those. You can please feel free to ask anything that you want or anything that is not clear to you in terms of rules, etc. Because if it's not clear, and if you act on certain or in a certain way where you believe the rules to be true and it doesn't kind of work out, then the whole fantasy or the whole idea of playing fantasy will kind of be defeated, right? So just get more clarity, get more understanding. We'll talk about different players, we'll talk about budget options. The good thing about fantasy, or the good thing about World Cup fantasy, is that there are a lot of options to kind of look towards and go towards. And it's not that we are restricted to only a couple of premiums, we're restricted to only a few teams as well, like in the Premier League. There are a lot of teams to kind of choose from, a lot of options to kind of go towards. There are substitutions, etc., to be made as well. So the idea, or the basic premises of playing the game still remains the same, but the approach here is quite different from a regular fantasy game from FPL, because you need the bench, you need decent captaincy options, and you need other stuff as well, considering that there are some additional chips to kind of deal with as well. So welcome again to all of you. We'll start with the questions, plus feel free to add as many questions, as many comments, etc., that you can. I think it'll be really helpful for me, for you, and for the others as well. Hey Devara, hello to you. Devara, I hope I've got that right. Hello to you, welcome to the stream. Is Carrasco nailed to start? I don't think so. I mean, I was reading the predicted lineups, etc., as well, and I just feel, I mean, if you're spending that Carrasco money, I feel, if you really have to go towards a Belgium option, you maybe take a chance with a Trossard, for example. I don't even think that Trossard is completely nailed, but again, I mean, at 7 million, there are better options to go for. There are more nailed options to go for. You can go for the likes of Bergwijn. If you don't have him already, if you have a slightly higher budget, you can maybe look towards a Sarabia from Spain. There is Ivan Perisic as well. So I don't think so. I mean, there is a lot of need to meddle with the Belgium attack. I understand the fixtures are really good, but if I'm really targeting one option, I would probably want to go towards a KDB, because he's a premium option. He also kind of gives me a flexibility to change captaincy in case if I want to go there. So I just feel there are better options in the 7 odd million price category, and I think you can look elsewhere. I DM'd you my team. Please rate. Let me just quickly check it. So your team is basically, it's Martinez, Dumfries, Estupinan, Mela, Trippier, Bergwijn, Di Maria, Trossard, Højbjerg, Gakpo, Messi, Rochet, Neymar, Sane, Cancelo. I think it's a very solid team. I don't think so there are any changes required. I mean, and your Mbappe is basically acting as a 12th man. I don't think so any changes are required. It's a pretty solid team. I've gone for a couple of different picks in my own team, but I don't, again, right now there is no one certain team that is the strongest or that is the best, because there are some really good options to go for. It's still a kind of a unknown space or unknown territory, because we haven't seen any World Cup matches being played yet. Of course, we'll get some more idea once the match day fixtures are kind of going through. We get through all the fixtures, we move towards match day 2. I think that is when we can make certain assessments, certain we can gauge certain teams in terms of how they're playing, what is the formation, who's playing how many minutes, and how is the team generally doing in defense, attack, midfield, and all of that stuff. I think right now it's a solid team. But yeah, I mean, be open to changes in terms of some injuries coming up, or maybe some changes that we have to do. For example, I don't think so a lot of people are considering Portuguese attackers at the moment, right? And yes, it's a tough group, it's a tricky group, but the fixtures, irrespective of the fixture, I think still they can do really well. And I think there could be a mindset change in match day 2, where I know it's a tough fixture in match day too, but again, if they play really, really well, I think there are chances that a lot of people might hedge their bets towards, Portuguese attackers as well. But yeah, I think right now, I think it's a good team. Have you heard about the Qatar bribing Ecuador to lose the opener? I mean, I did read about it. I really didn't do a lot of research or a lot of reading into it. But I mean, there are accusations for sure, but I'm not sure how accurate they are or how real they are. Um, so yeah, I mean, I just feel there is a lot of controversy happening anyways, and this World Cup is generally, personally, I feel that the hype has been a lot less in terms of people being excited about the World Cup, being interested about the World Cup. I think the hype is generally a lot lesser. It could be because of the fact of what has been happening with regards to Qatar and the human rights issue. It could be regards to this as well. There have been talks about World Cup not being held at the right point of time in the season. It's the first time during the winter season the World Cup is happening and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, let's just focus on the matches. Let's just focus on fantasy, and let's just try to, even if you're not playing fantasy at the end of the day, I think it's important to enjoy the tournament. These are some of the best teams in the world, featuring some of the best players that we like and we love, and we follow across different leagues. And I think it's going to be really, really interesting. Carrasco's Jenny played a lot of games before. I mean, he has. I'm not denying that at all. But I just feel there are just better options out there. I mean, if you want to go and take a punt, you of course you do it. And if you have a gut feel about Carrasco, you go for him. But I just feel there are better options in that 7 million price bracket. I mean, Steve Bergwijn is gonna play in an attacking position. He's almost gonna play as a forward. There is great attacking potential. The fixture is really good. The group is good, and because the fact that Memphis Depay is also out, from the Netherlands team, I think players like Bergwijn, players like Gakpo, I think they could do really, really well. So I think, I know a lot of people are not talking about a punt, but Lucas Paqueta from Brazil, I think I mean, there are doubts about his minutes, etc., but I think he could also be a great differential in that 7 million price point. You could go slightly cheaper as well. I've seen a lot of teams with Kimmich, Joshua Kimmich as well, but I'm not sure if he's the right option because you have attacking option in that price category as well. But again, if you feel that Carrasco is going to start, I still have my doubts, but and plus doubts in terms of minutes as well. But yeah, if you feel that he's going to start, I mean, go for the shot, go for the punt, and see what happens. See, the good part about UCL fantasy or World Cup fantasy in this case is that a lot of times we will be stuck with players who might not give us good points, and we also have a good chance of taking them off and getting somebody from the bench as well. So it's very important to have a balanced team, a balanced squad, because let's say if somebody like a Carrasco, for example, doesn't give you points, or somebody like a Trossard, for example, doesn't give you points, there's always a chance that you can get somebody from the bench and then take the player that has not performed for you out, and try to get in a decent option who might outscore the option that you're taking out, right? So I think, I mean, if you really feel about it and if you feel strongly about it, I think you go for it. Otherwise, I personally feel there are better options. In terms of, I think, my own team as well, I was very hell-bent on the fact that I should have KDB. But when I looked at Belgium's last game, I did a little bit more research, little bit more in-depth reading about what they've been doing, especially with the fact that they don't have Lukaku. I'm not contesting the fact that KDB is not going to play well. I think he's still going to play, or put in the best performances in that team because he looks like the best attacker. But KDB also has significant amount of creative threat, creative output as compared to, let's say, scoring goals. Right? They need somebody who can finish those chances, finish those opportunities that a KDB creates, which has been happening with Man City because they have a certain Haaland in their team. And of course, I'm not saying that the same equation is going to happen here or not happen here. But because of the fact that Lukaku is out, and they have Batshuayi. Batshuayi has a decent record in the past few games, in certain number of games over a certain number of time. But I just feel it's just, I mean, yeah, it's not Haaland for sure. It's not somebody that who's probably going to be a first name, when we even talk about the Belgium team, right? So I just feel there was a lot more value in spreading the funds, and that's what you see on the screen as well. As the likes of Di Maria, Bergwijn, Perisic, it's a well spread squad, targeting attackers from different teams who can really give me attacking outputs, and also having a decent bench. I mean, if you see my bench, it's Sane and Neymar on the bench. Of course, they're not going to be on the bench, but I just feel it's a good squad. Are you going to watch the World Cup? I mean, of course, I'm going to watch the World Cup. I mean, I'm creating content for World Cup, so of course I'll be watching it. I'm not supporting a team, as I've mentioned earlier in the earlier streams as well. Not supporting a particular team, but of course because of the fact that I've been, following Premier League for a really long time. I've been following Manchester United for a really long time. I think there is some sort of affinity that kind of, automatically or naturally has been towards the England team. And if I'm supporting one team, I think it's probably going to be England. Why don't you sub Neymar on? Neymar will be subbed. It's just the fact. So the team that you see here is the team basically which is playing the earliest. So what I mean to say is that players like Martinez, Trippier, Dumfries, Mila Pavard, all the attackers, including Di Maria, Bergwijn, all these players, right? So they have a fixture before the bench players that I have. And of course, I've really messed up the creative, right? I think it's a decent bet to kind of go with these players before. If they do not perform, because I'm pretty sure not everybody is gonna give us attacking returns. Of course, we still need to have three defenders, and we have a defender option on the bench as well in case if the defender doesn't work out. But I think you can always bring on somebody like a Sane and a Neymar from the bench, because you can make a substitution. You can take out the players who have not worked out for you and or who've not given a haul in the 11 that is there right now, and then you can get somebody from the bench. So it doesn't operate like FPL where there are automatic subs. It's basically you can do manual substitutions. You can get in players. It's slightly different, from UCL Fantasy, because in terms of UCL Fantasy, you could only target the substitutions just before the first match began, right? But in this case, you can also do the substitutions right before that particular match began. So let's say if I maybe I can get Sane before, because I think Germany's playing before Brazil, right? And just before the Brazil game, let's say if one of these players or whatever player doesn't work out and doesn't give me any hauls or any points, I can then get in Neymar. So it's a little bit tricky. It's a little bit confusing as well. But I would suggest you go, in case if you're not clear about the rules about the substitutions, you go have a read. And if you still do not understand, if you still have a lot of confusion, I can help you out again. I'm more or less the same team as you, just a few changes like Costa goalkeeper, and I've gone for Acuna as an Argentinian defender. He's good attacking threat in Sarabia in the place of Perisic. I like Sarabia. It's important to have an Argentinian defender. I felt I had Otamendi in most of my drafts. I just have a tiny feeling that Otamendi might share minutes. I think it could be Martinez and one of Romero or Otamendi, or maybe one of Martinez or Otamendi. And because of that slight risk, I thought, I know I'm spending a little bit more because I'm spending 5.5 on an Argentinian, defense or a defender. In this case, a goalkeeper, and he doesn't really give me any attacking threat, attacking returns. But I think the way my squad is structured, I think it's okay. I can take that risk, and I can take that chance. So I think overall, having an Argentinian defender or defense or goalkeeper, I think it's good. A lot of people are also talking about Brazil defense as well. And I think not a lot of people are going for Brazilian defenders because the attacking options, there could be some rotation there. Center backs are not usually preferred in the game, though it's very odd or very weird because center backs score goals. I mean, from set pieces, from corners, etc. Not everybody, but there are certain options that you can go for, and there are a lot of points, more points in FPL as compared. When we compare defenders and when they're scoring goals, right? So it's just a bit odd to kind of see not a lot of people going with a lot of center backs, but I think I understand the appeal as well because with attacking left back or wing back, for example, any player who's basically playing in a wider position, I think there's always a chance of scoring a goal. Maybe that person is on set pieces. Somebody like a Trippier, for example, who's been in great form. We know that he can score from set pieces. He's already done that in the World Cup as well. So I think, I think it's okay. There, as I said, right? I mean, in FPL as well, there's no one way of playing the game. Similarly, there's no one way of playing World Cup fantasy as well. You can go for different options. It's just about which options you feel are the best options for your team and can give you the maximum points. At the end of the day, that is what really counts. Akuna at 4.5 is a bargain. I mean, yeah, I don't see. It's always important to kind of, for me, it's always important to kind of see the first game and understand in terms of, let's say if you're talking about somebody like a Messi or a Ronaldo or a Neymar, etc., who are pretty much nailed. In defense as well, I mean, different teams have different options. I still feel that he's probably going to be nailed, but again, we could still see some rotation. We could still see some sort of changes, etc., happening. But yeah, it also depends on the other players, right? I mean, I generally feel that Romero Martinez, you know, I mean, I would probably still go for a centre back rather than the Argentinian, wide players, etc. Because I feel Argentina, I mean, the wing backs or the players who are playing wide basically in defense, they're not as attacking as we probably would have seen with some other teams, right? And just because of the fact, I think it's, I mean, there are better options. I personally feel there are better options. I mean, if I'm targeting the 4.5 category, Mela is a great option. And I think he's already a popular option. A lot of you already might have gone with him, or might have already, have him in your team. I think he's one of the best options in that 4.5 million price category. And yeah, it also depends on what's your overall structure, right? I mean, how you're basing your team. Are you going for four premiums, three premiums? Are you going for midfield heavy? Are you going for, a bench which is slightly lighter because you have confidence in your playing 11? So, I mean, different approaches, different ways of playing. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. It's just how you see the game. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, excited to see how players like Gakpo, kind of turn out, because he might not be a long-term option. He looks okay for 1 week because Memphis Depay is definitely not going to play this week. So I think he looks okay. The fixture is really good as well. Most likely he's going to play in that, a creative hole in that attacking mid sort of a position. And I think there is a potential hole in there as well. Olsen as well. A lot of people, of course, are still not aware of Olsen. I think if you, of course, if I'm having that much money, I would still want to go with somebody like a Christian Eriksen, for example. But it's a decent downgrade. I mean, I won't say that the numbers are not and the underlying stats are not comparable, because Ericsson for his national team plays in a lot more advanced position, and there are more chances of attacking returns as compared to what he's been playing for Man United. Because at Man United, he's been playing in a slightly deeper, slightly withdrawn role, which is not going to happen for his national team. But again, he's a cheaper option. Olsen, he's a slightly riskier option as well, but worth a punt, because I see a lot of template teams already emerging, and certain players are in almost every team that I see. I mean, players like Messi, players like Neymar as well. I mean, he's also very popular. Then we have certain defenders like Cancelo, Dumfries, Mela, who are also quite popular. So it's important to kind of look at differential gems as well, because that is where the true gains could really lie. And he's in that sort of price category where I can easily switch to a different option as well. Gakpo, Ismail Assar. I mean, if I'm just targeting 1 week, I think it depends on whether it's going to be long term. Long term, definitely Gakpo is still a decent option. No, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Memphis Depay comes in. I still don't think his position is really going to change a lot, but I still feel Gakpo is playing for a much superior attack, much superior team. Sar, I mean, he can be okay. Yeah, I think Senegal, after Mane is gone, I think it's going to take a huge hit on their performance. And I think, I mean, Ismail Assar can be avoided. I know 6.5 is a good price to kind of, go for, or I mean, he could be a decent option still. But I still feel if I'm spending 6.5, I think Batshuayi is also the same price, if I'm not wrong. And I think I can easily go for Batshuayi as well, in case if my budget is, around that 6.5 million price point. Yeah, Batshuayi is 6.5 as well. I think I personally feel he is a better option. I Again, it depends on Lukaku's fitness as well. But if you're just talking about 1 week, I think if I'm looking at a 6.5 million price point, I think I'll still prefer somebody like a Batshuayi. If I can extend it to 7, then there are some really interesting options, because in that case, you can go for a Gakpo, you can go for a Ferran Torres as well. I think Ferran Torres is also 7 million. A lot of people are saying that he might have reduced minutes, so he might not start, but I generally feel that he's going to start. Murata is expensive. I think he's about 8 million. But again, if you're just taking a 1 week punt, and if you are almost certain, or if you are almost certain in terms of using the wild card in match day two, I think Morata is also a decent punt. He's sort of a troll player in a lot of ways, because a lot of people depend on him in terms of fantasy, and he finds a way to kind of not give us points and spoil our match days, our weekends, and all that stuff. But I think yeah, I think he could be a decent option. Thoughts on Giroud instead of Gakpo, not playing Mbappe 12th man, playing Kane instead? I mean, if you're not playing Mbappe as a 12th man, which I think is still the better option to kind of go for, but again, if you're playing Kane, Giroud is also a decent bet. I mean, with the injury to Benzema, I think, I mean, it's expected that he's going to get minutes. But I was reading his numbers, reading his stats, his numbers, his goal scoring, numbers and data. It's been really, really bad as well. And so it's not that he's a great goal scoring forward. He's going to give you a lot of goals, etc. His overall attacking play is really good. His movement is really good. His off the ball play is also pretty decent. But I just feel he's not somebody who's gonna score a lot of goals. Gakpo's returns, over the past few games for Netherlands have been really good, right? And I think I still feel he's still a better option than Giroud. To be honest, I mean, if I'm targeting the France team, of course there are different options. Giroud 7.5 as well. I'm not sure. He's worth that much money. I still think Gakpo is the better option, and you save 0.5 as well, which you can probably invest elsewhere. Maybe make certain upgrades which might help you get a better defender, get a better playing or starting defender, maybe a more attacking defender, maybe a more attacking midfielder, etc. as well, right? So Rochet or Sheeb, Al Sheeb, I think that's the keeper. I think it's Rochet. Perisic, Sarabia. I've gone for Perisic. If you're okay taking a bit of a risk as well, I think Sarabia is a good option. For me, it's De Bruyne or Di Maria. I think it's Di Maria. Di Maria is, uh, I mean, still, it also depends, right? What do you do with that De Bruyne money? Because De Bruyne is, I think, 11 million, if I'm not wrong, and Di Maria is 8.5. So you have that price difference, and it really depends on what you do with that additional money. If you can spread that fund or those funds and make significant upgrades elsewhere, I think it's definitely worth not going for Kevin De Bruyne. I've personally, I still feel he's going to do okay, but I just feel with the money that he's costing, I mean, there's a better balance that you can have overall in your team, and I think you can go for better set of players. Kane or other cheaper forwards. I still like Kane, but again, if having a Harry Kane, disturbs your overall balance of the team, where you're not able to get a good or a decent bench, I mean, where you're just struggling to kind of get in. Maybe you have a 4.5 million midfielder, maybe a Kazri, for example, who's okay. I mean, who's not bad, but again, he's not somebody that you will really depend on. So unless it really spoils your balance, I still prefer going for Harry Kane. But in my case, I had two decent captaincy options. I had Messi and there's Neymar as well. Neymar has a slightly tougher fixture, um, but I mean there's still a decent option to kind of go for in terms of captaincy. As a pick in isolation, he's still pretty decent, and that's why I kind of went towards Gakpo, because I could save in money. I could use that additional money and make significant upgrades elsewhere, because I have a very strong midfield in terms of the attacking options that are there. Trippier or Shaw? Shaw is more nailed for sure. I mean, I don't think Trent is going to start, ahead of Trippier. But I still feel in terms of competition, there is more competition, definitely more competition for Trippier. So in case if you want nailed minutes, I think Shaw is the better option. In case if you're okay with that slight risk, but you probably are, are going for a defender, going for an option who has slightly more upside, because I generally feel Trippier has slightly more upside, considering the fact that he's also on set pieces and he can score from free kicks as well, right? There are no bonus points, so we're not going to benefit from Trippier's bonus points here. But I still feel I would still go kind of Trippier rather than going Shaw. Cancelo or Pavard, if you can afford, again, if you can get in, let's say if you do not have Costa, definitely go Cancelo. If you already have Costa, I think it's okay to kind of go Pavard, and then again have that French cover. It's also kind of depends on what's your wildcard strategy. Are you wildcarding, and are you wildcarding in in match day 2, or is it in match day 3? Because France have a trickier fixture in match day 2. So what are you going to do with Pavard? Are you going to transfer him out? Depends on that plan as well, but I think depends on the case. To be very honest, both are good options. How would you order this bench? Neymar, Sosa, Cancelo, pretty good. Can definitely get all these and all the three players and in your 11 and take out the players that have not scored for you. Just concerned about the World Cup winners curse. Benzema injury doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't help at all. He's one of the better players or the better attackers in the French team. Plus a lot of injuries, right? Just not Benzema. Could be the winners World Cup winners curse as well. But there are a lot of players injured. There's Pogba, there's Kante, there's I think Kimpembe as well, a couple of Nkuku as well. I think one or two more players, significant options that are injured. So yeah, I mean France definitely looks like a strong team, but with the injuries, we still don't know what's going to happen and how are they going to perform. But yeah, I have a hunch that they're gonna mess it up. It's not gonna be a great tournament for France, but let's see. I mean, I still expect them to win the group because it's Denmark is of course a trickier side and they are in really good form. But Australia and Tunisia, I mean, you don't really expect them to let's say if Denmark is number one in the group, you don't really expect them to beat France to it, right? So let's see. I mean, weirder things have happened, stranger things have happened before, and could happen still. Do you think that Theo Hernandez will start? I mean, that's my worry with the French defense on the other side because I still feel Pavard is going to start. I'm not really sure about Theo Hernandez because he's competing with his brother in that position, and that just makes things a bit trickier. And I think you can easily go for somebody like a Pavard because you have Lucas Hernandez and you have Theo Hernandez fighting for that spot. Now, of course, one of them maybe could play centre back, but I still feel it's not a risk worth taking. I still feel if you're targeting a France or a French defender, I think you can easily go for Pavard, who's definitely more nailed. Kane, Kazri, Emi Martinez, or Lautaro Martinez, Musiala, Diego Costa. Mm, I mean, I still like the Martinez, Musiala is Lautaro Martinez is a great option. Depends on whether you also have the likes of Messi and Di Maria. Because if you're covering the Argentinian attack and if you want that cover, I think it's a better combination. But if you already have somebody like a Di Maria and a Messi as well in your team, I think you can go for the Kane, Kazri, Emi Martinez. Kazri is somebody who's probably not going to be very effective. I mean, he's somebody who can probably just give you appearance points in case if it comes to kind of that. But overall, the combination of Martinez, Musiala, and Costa still looks a lot better. Should I should I place bench order by who plays first? So Pavard, Sosa, Neymar. I mean, you don't really have to see. The point is that you're gonna make manual substitutions, so you're not gonna make. It's not that you're not gonna touch your team, and I think there's a good chance that you can put any order that you want because you can just take out that particular player. You can click on that particular player and then just take out the player that has not scored for you or you want to take out anyways, and then just get in the player that is on your bench. So the bench order in case, so unless you were not touching your team or you don't have time or you can't follow daily match day daily matches on a day-to-day basis in a particular match day or in this match day, then I think the order still makes more sense. Otherwise you can just place any order and just take out the player that is there in any random order, and then you can get that player in. KDB or Neymar? I'd still like Neymar more. I know it's a trickier fixture for Neymar because Serbia has a decent defense. It could be a tough game for Brazil, but I just feel because the fact that he's also on. I mean, KDB could also be on penalties because the fact that Lukaku is not going to be there. But Neymar on pens and on set pieces, definitely the main man. I mean, KDB also is the main man, but I just feel Neymar is right now playing for a better team who are in better form, better attacking form, and more likely to score goals because the fact that they have a proper striker, they have proper wingers. It's a good, well drilled unit, right? And Brazil is one of the favorites to win the World Cup as well. So I generally feel that Neymar, irrespective of the fact that he's not getting points for key passes and all that stuff, I still feel Neymar is the better option. Is Dumfries guaranteed for match day one? I think so. Yes, I think he's fit, and when he's fit, he's definitely going to start. I don't think so. He's going to be benched. He's a very crucial player. He has a lot of potential in terms of going forward and attack. He can score goals. He can score free goals. We've seen that. He can provide assists. There's clean sheet potential in there as well, and I think he will start for sure. Fun fact: the last time France were defending the World Cup, they were in the same group as Denmark and finished last. I mean, yeah, the saying is there, or the stars are kind of aligning to that direction, right? I mean, there is a chance that France could have a really really bad tournament because the fact that and it's not that they have been in great form as well. I was reading in the I think in the Nations League, in the 6 matches that were played, they only won one of the games. Right, the fixtures were tricky, of course, but it's still the France national team that we're talking about, right? So yeah, I mean the injuries could haunt them. Benzema again, it's a huge loss. So let's see. When is the deadline? Deadline is so 9:30 IST is when the match is starting. If I just tell in terms of the time, I think it's about an hour and 22 minutes or 20 odd minutes till deadline. So you still have enough time to tinker more and try to get in the players, the best options that you feel will give you good points. So exactly when the match starts, yes, the deadline is exactly when the match starts. Yeah, so basically the first match of every match day is going to be the deadline for that match or that match day. So as soon as the first game starts today, that will be deadline, which is basically, yeah. You have 1 million in the bank. Sheep, Trippier, Mela, Dumfries, Perisic, Olsen, DePaul, Bergwijn, Di Maria, Messi, Kane. Benches Costa, Pavard, Sosa, Neymar. Where would you spend that money? I had a similar dilemma in terms of having additional money. I have zero point 0.5 million still left in the bank. It's not that I don't want to use that money, but I just feel I think it's a good rounded squad and it doesn't really need to have money. I mean, I can save that money and maybe make certain upgrades next week or in the next match day. But if I really have to maybe upgrade somebody, I mean, if you're okay letting go of DePaul, who I still think is a good option, but because of the fact that you already have a Di Maria, a Messi as well, I mean, you can maybe look towards Olsen, who's I think 6 million. So that is where you can spend your money. The other option is basically you upgrade Sheep and you go for a slightly better, better goalkeeper. That's another option. Uh, Starting, I mean, in terms of you have Olsen. Did I miss Olsen? Oh, I missed Olsen. Sorry, my bad. So Olsen's there. The only option that I see here is yeah, because I would definitely have Trippier. I would definitely have Mela. I would definitely have Dumfries. Perisic is also again not a lot of people I think have gone for Perisic. But if you let go of Perisic, I think you will have something around 8.5 million in the bank, and in that price point, I think there aren't really a lot of options. I mean, you could. I don't see a German player in there, or I've missed that as well. Perisic, Olsen, DePaul, Bergwijn. Yeah, I mean, you could go for Musiala as well. Instead of a Perisic, you can make that upgrade. So you'll have zero point 0.5. That zero point 0.5 you could use to upgrade Sheep and get a better keeper. I mean, that's definitely one way to go about it. I won't really change Sosa as well because Sosa is a starter in the team. I think he's a good option. He's an attacking option as well. I think he's gonna be one of the very or the most undervalued players in the fantasy game this time around. So I think those are the options to kind of go towards. If I really have to make an upgrade, I'll probably look at changing a Perisic, and unless you really settled on Perisic and you don't really want to make upgrades, then I'll just probably upgrade Sheep and just save that additional money, use it in the next match day. Hey brother, hello to you. Hope you remember me. I do remember you. Just wanted to say, everyone, good luck with fantasy. Unfortunately, you're not playing. That's okay. That's not a problem. You want to chill and just watch the World Cup. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, it was very nice and very sweet of you to join us and say hi, hello to you. Have a great World Cup. Enjoy all the matches. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. For the best goalkeepers to own, I think personally, I feel we don't really have to go very premium in terms of the goalkeepers. I think if you want to go the most premium, I won't suggest going beyond Martinez. Argentina have a good defense, And if I'm getting a keeper from there, Martinez at 5.5 I think is a good option, and that's somebody that I've also gone with. In case if you are looking at other options, I think Costa for Portugal is a standout option because he's playing for a premium team and a premium defense, and he's also not costing a lot of money. So I think at 5 million he could be the bargain in terms of the goalkeeper section or the goalkeeper options. In terms of other options, if I mean, I really don't see a lot of value in the 4.5 million options. There are a few options to kind of go for. There's still debate in terms of which is the starting goalkeeper for Netherlands, because we have the likes of Belo, we have Nopert as well, who started the last training session on the training game, and Netherlands played in that formation, which probably they will start in the first game. And in that, Noppert was playing. So there's a lot of confusion now in terms of which goalkeeper is going to play. And just because of the fact, they have more options as well. I'll just because Pasveer is also there. If I hope I've got that name right. Uh, yeah. So there are three options. We still don't know. All I think all three of them are 4.5 million. And if I'm just saving money, I will probably just go Rochet. I can go for the Qatar goalkeeper as well. That's also an option. But yeah, I just feel go with the 5-4 combination. I think you should be fine. Or in case if you want to spend a little bit more money, go Martinez. That'll be a 9.5, and that is still okay in terms of goalkeepers. You're still not overspending because see the upside with goalkeepers is a lot lesser, right? You're not gonna though they have massive points for scoring goals, but we do not get goalkeepers who score goals, right? Because penalties, in case if a goalkeeper takes a penalty, those goals or those points are not counted anyways. So yeah, just go with the Costa, Rochet combination, or else if you want to spend a little bit more, if you want to target the Argentinian defense, go Martinez and Rochet. I think that should be good. Hello to you. Regards from Santa Monica. I hope you're doing fine. Do you know if Musiala is expected to start? I mean, with current form and the way he's been playing, I think he should start in that attacking mid sort of a role. The issue is that he is competing with the likes. I don't think so. He's competing with Gnabry, but he's definitely competing with Muller. And you would expect Muller to start, in the World Cup games, right? Just because of that fact, I feel there is a slight risk. On current form, Musiala definitely, deserves to get a start, and I think he should be the one to start for Germany. But because of that risk factor, I personally feel that for my team, I felt that going with Sane was a better option. Who do you think will win, and who do you think will be the underdogs? For me, it's Brazil and Uruguay. I think for me, is Argentina is really looking very strong, and I think if apart from Brazil, I think Argentina could be the ones to win it this time around. In terms of dark horses, again, I'm not sure whether you will possibly call Portugal as dark horses, but Uruguay definitely looks a team, who could do really, really well, who could go deeper in the tournament. Because they generally, I mean, they have a good defense. They're a strong, decent, strong team, a good, well-oiled unit, and I think they could do really well. I have a feeling that Portugal also will end up doing well in this tournament. Let's see what happens. I don't think so. Denmark. I mean, again, not a lot of people would expect Denmark to win the tournament, but I think that's another team that could do, that could do really well. They have been playing excellent football. They have been, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. Again, it's a good team. It's a good system that they are, having right now, and I think that also could be a team that goes a lot deeper. Would you play Pavard over Perisic? Pavard plays first. I will play Pavard over Perisic, yeah. And if it doesn't work out, I'll possibly make the switch. Or if in any case, if I have a player who's blanked or who's not given me points, I can always get Perisic back in. Hello to you, Brian. Welcome to the stream. What are your thoughts on Argentina triple attack? I like it. I did try a draft with the Argentina triple attack as well by going, upgrading a Gakpo to a Martinez. But I felt that there were certain options that I was really very sure of, because it was not that I really really wanted Martinez. I'm okay going with the Gakpo as well. I mean he's a better option than Batshuayi, but I would have been fine with Batshuayi as well, as because it's the third forward is where a lot of people are punting, and I think that's going to make or break, the match day one scores a lot. Uh, but yeah, I don't mind the triple attack. The fixture is really good, but the issue is that it's just putting too many eggs in one basket. And in case, I don't think so, it's gonna happen. But in case if Argentina don't win by a huge margin, don't score a lot of goals, they have good attackers, and these attacking returns could be spread across different players as well, right? And because of that fact, it is a bit it is a bit tricky to go all out attack in terms of the Argentina team, because I think a similar dilemma was also faced in FPL, where a lot of people were contemplating whether they should have triple Arsenal attack, right? I mean, can't believe that we are talking about it, but likes of Martinelli, Saka, and Gabriel Jesus as well, right? It just felt it's a bit too much. Though they were getting goals, they were scoring goals, but it was again spread across different players, right? So it just makes it a bit trickier. I just feel when different teams have equally good fixtures as well, you can spread the risk, you can mitigate the loss in case if you have any, and you can still have good players, target good fixtures, and maybe get equal, if not better, points. Will Trippier start? I really think that he will start. I don't think so. I mean, Southgate, again, Southgate has done weirder things as well, but I still feel he is the better option to go for. He's a better defender as well when we compare him to the likes of, a Trent, for example. Let's say Ben White plays in that position. I mean, he's definitely a lot better than Ben White going forward. Though you could argue that Ben White is also, a good defender. But I think considering the overall package, considering that, he gives that extra option to the Southgate defense or Southgate attack as well in terms of scoring from free kicks, taking free kicks, set pieces, etc. I think Trippier definitely deserves to start. I think he will start. If you're wildcarding in two, then Sheep is better to go with, right? I have Costa, so if Sheep doesn't do well, I can play Costa. I mean, yeah, if you're wildcarding in two, Sheep, you can definitely go with him. Uh, if Sheep doesn't do well, I think Costa is a much better, or a great option to kind of have, a great replacement to have if it doesn't work out with Sheep, which is quite high. The possibility is quite high. Aren't any of us going for the FPL legend that is Danny Ward? I mean, I wanted to be very honest. I really wanted to, but then I held myself back and I was like, let's just be a little serious. But yeah, I mean, Danny Ward is has been in great form. I mean, it's so weird. It's so surprising. I think his first eight. I mean, I was reading a comparison on Twitter when we were talking about the game week 16 deadline, and his numbers in the first 8 game weeks as compared to the next 8 are absolutely crazy. I mean, the comparison is unreal, right? And he could get in some of that form in the international games as well, but I just feel I mean, there are better options with better clean sheet potential, and you know uh, just better options out there. Can we change captain every day? So you cannot change captain every day. You can basically change captain once. So let's say if you go with a certain player, let's say if you go with Messi, for example, uh, and then you have somebody like a Neymar as well, right? So Messi plays first. Let's say if Messi is your captain, you choose Messi. He doesn't play well, or he doesn't, give you enough attacking returns, and you want to change him. Then you can change Messi one more time, or one time, basically move from Messi to a different captaincy option. And in this case, in my case, it's basically Neymar. But yeah, it's just one. You can't change it every day. Let's say if the match day is spread across 3 or 4 different days or 5 days, you cannot change a captain. Every day, have a different captain every day from a different team, different player. You can just change it once. So just be mindful of that fact. How good are Netherlands in attack? I haven't watched them at all. But considering it's Van Gaal team, I mean, yeah, uh, I mean, you would expect a Van Gaal team to be, set up defensively very strong, very tight, and of course, not really scoring a lot of goals. Something like England as well, right? England also do not score a lot of goals, but they are very solid team defensively. But I still feel, in terms of whatever I've read, whatever I've seen as well, I think they have been scoring goals. They have a lot of good attacking options as well, and I mean, yeah, it's worth investing in the attack because of the group as well, right? The teams that they are facing, they aren't really the strongest of defenses. They don't really have any standout options. Of course, you can always argue that those teams might sit back, try to defend deep and try to make it tight, try to not concede first, and then try to build their plays from there. That's absolutely a possibility, but I still feel there's enough attacking, impetus in Netherlands to kind of break those teams down and score a lot of goals because the potential is definitely there. The fixtures are definitely there. The games are definitely there, and I think we can trust the Netherlands. I think it's a good attack. I will play a 12th man chip. I have done mine to Mbappe. Is it too early? I don't think so. It's too early to be honest because I don't think so. You can play the chip mid match day. What I mean to say is that let's say if you have not started or if you didn't play the 12th man chip before the deadline, I don't think so. You can activate it after or between the deadline, right? So I don't think so. It's early to be very honest. I in fact played it a couple of days prior or before, right? And I was freaking out if something happens to Mbappe, if he gets an injury and stuff like that, which happened with Benzema. I've seen a lot of teams, a lot of players who went with Benzema as the 12th man, and they did end up struggling because Benzema is now out of the tournament, right? And I mean, such some of the rules are so stupid in terms of fantasy, in terms of World Cup fantasy. We should have an option to at least change the player. I understand that once you've made the chip active, you cannot take it back, but you should have an option to change the player in case if you've gone a bit early, if there's any injury, if there's any suspension, anything like that. The optionality should definitely be there. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like a half-baked game, and that's about it. Yeah. What means we have two free transfers during a match day one. Basically, so that is how people are interpreting this in different ways. What I got a sense of it, what I earlier understood that basically between match day one and match day two, you'll be having two free transfers like UCL Fantasy, like your FPL, where you have one free transfer every week. I thought that it would be that, but I think how people are interpreting this is basically you can change these two options, these two, or you can make two transfers in the match day itself. So let's say if you have a certain player and you can take out that certain player, you can get in a different player who's not played yet, and then you can use one of these two, free transfers. Let's see if that really is the case, because again, there's still a lot of doubt, a lot of confusion in terms of what's going to happen. But I think we'll get to know once we see people start making transfers. I think it's okay to wait at least a day and then see what's happening. See how are the rules being followed and how is it actually happening, because I still feel we would be in for a couple of surprises for sure. I still have a feeling that we would kind of interpret rules in a certain way, but it's not going to happen that way, and we will end up cursing ourselves. That's absolutely going to happen. So just that's my sense of it. But yeah, this is what it is actually, and there is a way to to basically cheat in this game because of maybe the way the rules have been made, or maybe the way the rules have been written, etc. It's just maybe that we are misunderstanding the rules in a certain way. What happened to the people who put their 12th man as Benzema and found out he's, I mean, I think they would have stopped playing fantasy, to be honest. I mean, there's a high chance that they would be like, oh my God, we haven't even started playing the fantasy game and it's already trolling us. It's already downhill and downside from here, because I know a lot of people did. Because they've reached out to me. I've got so many DMs on Instagram where people have, said that Benzema was our 12th man and I don't know what to do. But yeah, I just have a feeling that anyways, the game looks a little complicated. I know the interest etc is also a little lesser this time for n number of reasons, but I just feel they would have been like, either I'll make a different team from a different account, or I'll just give it up right now. I'm not gonna play this game. It's absolutely shit anyways. But yeah, I think I just feel bad for those people, those players who went with Benzema, who went a little early with Benzema, because he could have been a decent option in attack. I know a lot of people have gone for Mbappe. I also went with Mbappe, but Benzema could have been a good differential. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how many of those people return. Sane or Musiala, in terms of the nailedness, in terms of these players starting, I still feel it's Sane. In terms of absolute numbers, I think Musiala is slightly better. But again, Musiala is competing. I think Sane is definitely nailed. Musiala is competing with somebody like a Muller who's expected to get minutes. And there we might see some rotation. We might see some, don't get surprised if you get a sense or get an understanding that Musiala is getting benched and Muller is starting, right? Because Musiala can always come and play the last 30 minutes, last 15, 20 minutes and make a lot of impact if, that sort of a scenario kind of comes up. So I personally feel it's still Sane. But yeah, if you feel that you can take a risk with Musiala, and maybe you want to use that additional 1 million, because I've also seen this strategy, right? You basically go with Musiala, you use that additional 1 million because there's a difference of 1 million in between both players. Use that 1 million price and you make certain upgrades elsewhere, right? And if those upgrades are actually quite good, and if you have a bench to kind of cover, I think you can go with Musiala, but it's a slight risk for sure. Ronaldo and Bruno or Kane and Modric slash Musiala. Um, I mean, Ronaldo and Bruno looks a bit much, considering that again, I don't know what's your wildcard strategy. I don't know what's your other team looking like. But yeah, just the question in isolation, I still feel if I'm going with one Portugal player, I'll go with Ronaldo because the fact that I'm expecting him to start, and when he start, he's gonna be on set pieces. He's gonna be on penalties as well. He's definitely gonna be a much better option as compared to a Bruno, because I think Bruno kind of still gets overshadowed with United's with Ronaldo's presence, and I think that's probably going to continue as well. So yeah, I think the overall combination is definitely Kane and Musiala. I think if I'm going Modric, I'll rather go Perisic and save that additional money because Perisic is going to play in an attacking position. Modric is going to play deeper as a center mid, whereas Perisic is going to play on the left side of the attack, and I think there's more potential with Perisic. Muller might play center forward. I mean, there is a chance that Muller might play center forward. Gnabry could also come in and play center forward. Assuming both are starting, who would you go for? I think if both are starting, I'll definitely go with Musiala. I think there are more outlets to points when we talk about Musiala. I think he's creative. He can score goals. He's been in great form as well, right? Though Sane has also played really well this season. His domestic form has been good. But if both are, let's assume a scenario where both are starting. I think it's going to be Musiala. I never put Bruno in my team. I don't know if you have anything against Bruno or I don't know what, but I mean he could still be a decent option. I won't discount him just about yet. I mean I'll wait for Portugal's first game. I'll see what's happening there and then we'll see, because there are a lot of narratives with the Portuguese team as well, considering what's been happening with Ronaldo, the interview, and all that controversy, all that stuff with United. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of impacts the Portuguese team, if at all it is impacting the Portugal team. But yeah, too early to discount him, to be honest. Thoughts on Pasveer, Rochet, Shaw, Pavard, Mila, Sosa, Di Maria, Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne, Bergwijn, Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar. I mean, I just feel I'll rather just go with one of the options in terms of Bruno or Ronaldo. And if I'm going with one, I'll probably go with Ronaldo. I can use that Bruno money and I can maybe get in a German player, as you were asking the question, right, regarding Musiala. I think that could definitely be an option. Is it smart to leave money in the bank? I mean, it is smart to leave maybe point 0.5, but anything beyond that, you're just probably not utilizing your whole team, and you're just leaving a bit too much on the table. And you know, I mean, what are we leaving it for, right? Of course, you can use that money midweek in making a change. You can absolutely use that money in the second or in the next match day as well. But I think the maximum you need to save, if at all you need to save, is 0.5, not more than that. Mate, stop it. You won't even put him in your FPL team. Why would anyone put him in a competition that comes once in every 4 years? I mean, I, yeah, I kind of agree and kind of disagree as well. It's a tricky thing. I think if Ronaldo was not playing, if maybe he was injured, you know, if we knew for the fact that Bruno's definitely going to be on pens and set pieces, and he's going to be the main man for Portugal, I think it's still not a bad option. Though Portugal have a tougher group, and he's not a cheaper asset, right? I think there are better options out there. But I agree. I mean, in FPL with how United have been playing, and I'm a United supporter, I would definitely not have him right now. I would rather, if I'm targeting a United player, I'll probably go towards a Rashford, a Sancho. I mean, different options basically, which probably are better value. That's about it. Because I want to take a punt on Akram Afif of Qatar for the opening match. I mean, I still believe that this money can be used. You can make the upgrade, but yeah, I mean, if you, as I said, right, there's no one way of playing it. If you really want to take a punt on him, you go with him. But this logical move would be to utilize this money and maybe upgrade. Hildry just came off the back of a brace in the last game. That's what I'm saying, right? I mean, in spite of having trickier fixtures, though Ronaldo was not there, so I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. When Ronaldo comes off and Ronaldo comes in, and then these guys play together. I think it's okay to give it a match and then maybe take a call. I mean, Bruno is not a big game player. I kind of agree. In the bigger occasions, his kind of not shown up. Though he's had moments in phases where he's done really well. But yeah, I mean, I won't disagree with the fact that he's not shown up in the bigger tournaments or the bigger moments. Also because of the fact that you have a certain Ronaldo in the team who kind of overshadows mostly everybody in that team, and right now at United as well. With whatever's been happening, people were still talking about what's happening with Ronaldo rather than talking about the performances that we are putting in, right? So yeah, I mean, it all kind of depends on how you look at the stake or how you look at the situation. But yeah, I mean, things could be different this time around. Let's see. It's too early to say. Maybe a match or two, and then I think we'll be in a much better position to say or to comment on this. Guys, about an hour to go. Please feel free to add any questions, anything that you want to check, anything you want to add, anything that you want to talk about or discuss. What team are you supporting, guys? I mean, I of course I didn't ask any of that from anybody, but which teams are you supporting? Do you think your team is gonna win? I generally think England is gonna struggle, but yeah, let's see. Let's see. I think it could be a trickier tournament for them. I still feel they have a very good group, and there's a good chance that they get through. But yeah, England, USA, there are a lot of bad vibes there as well. So let's see. I'd rather take a blank from Kinsella or CR7. Then I mean, yeah, I mean, because CR7, Cancelo, they have potential, they have a higher upside maybe. And when CR7 is playing, definitely he's the better option. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Best 7.5 million midfielder. So there is Perisic. If you want to take a punt, there is Sarabia as well. I don't think so. A lot of people are going with Sarabia, but I think he's one of the most nailed players in that Spain attack. Not a lot of people are talking about the Spain attack, but the fixture is really good. They have a decent group as well. I think if you're targeting that 7.5 million price bracket, I think he could be a great option. Other than these two, I won't look at the likes of Bellingham, Grealish, Mount. I think Pulisic is also one that you can possibly target. Again, not a lot of people are looking at Pulisic, and I understand the reason why, because they're probably better options in the 8 to 8.5, 9 million price point, or maybe you go cheaper and you start punting on different options who could do really well, right? There's a risk involved there, but I think there is still a lot of potential in that price point. Other than those, I think, I mean, these two and maybe a punt on Pulisic is where I'll go. Otherwise, basically going Perisic, Sarabia, or Pulisic. Otherwise, I don't think so. There are any better options than these. Giroud or Gakpo? I mentioned this early in the stream. I think it's Gakpo for me right now. I mean, Giroud's attacking numbers aren't that great, though we are expecting him to start. But I still don't think that he's a very heavy goal scoring forward, or he's gonna give you a lot of goals. So I mean, yeah, Brozovic as well. 6 million. That's a good price point. And he's a great differential, right? He's in that 6 million price category. I think. Yeah, he's definitely been slightly overlooked. I think the ownership slightly deserves to be a lot higher. But again, I'm assuming not a lot of people would know about him, would know about his the attacking potential, would know about what he can do in the Croatian team. And I think he could be a decent option as well. Yeah. Why have you gone for Perisic instead of Sarabia? Perisic. So basically, Perisic is against. I mean, the fixture is definitely good. I think there could be more value with Perisic just because of the fact that he has a stronger influence in that Croatian side as compared to a Sarabia. Though I don't expect Sarabia to get to lose his minutes or to get limited minutes, but I still feel the Spain attack is a bit tricky to gauge right now. I don't think so. I mean, when you have players like Morata who tends to miss a lot of good chances, who tends I mean, there's not a leader in that team in that attack, which where we can point our fingers to and say that this guy is going to spearhead the attack. But when we talk about the likes of Croatia, I think their record in the international tournaments is really good. Perisic has really done well on the international stage. Yes, the age is catching up and all that stuff, but I think for Croatia he plays in a lot more advanced position. You also have the likes of Modric, and you have a good midfield to accompany there as well. You have a good defense. Or I just feel Perisic is the better package, and I think he could be the better option. Spain, it's a bit tricky to gauge and see where the returns are going to come from because I mean when we look at their midfield, Pedri had a great tournament last time around Euros basically. There's Danny Olmo as well, maybe who could get minutes. Then you have Murata, somebody who will get a lot of chances, but whether he can convert those chances, etc., I'm not too sure. So Sarabia is still sort of an unknown for me, to be very, very honest. And again, you might have a different opinion, which is absolutely fine. But I just feel Perisic. I've seen enough of Perisic to make that decision, make that call, and have confidence in him returning because Croatia, I think, is a good team. I currently have Sarabia. And if you have Sarabia, I think Perisic is the one to go for. If you're targeting the 7.5 million price category, I think definitely Perisic is the one to go for. Brozovic got Serie A best midfield. I mean, yeah. So he is a good option. I think just because of the fact that people do not know much about him, people don't know what is the potential from that pick. Plus you have options like an Olsen, for example, who could be very underpriced, who could do really really well. I know a lot of people want to invest in the Denmark attack, and they can't afford a Christian Eriksen because of the fact that let's say they have gone for Di Maria, they've maybe gone for Bergwijn, and they have got some money stuck there. Maybe they have invested additional money in a German midfield like sector as well. So I think, yeah, just because of the fact that he's not a very known commodity to a lot of people, just because of the fact that they don't watch that side of football or they don't follow the football there enough. I think not a lot of people know about him. Excuse me. Still about 45 odd minutes to go. 45 50 minutes to go. So we still have enough time. Let's just quickly see what's happening on Twitter. If we have anything to discuss, anything to talk about. I think in terms of the overall attacking strategy, right? It's I know the bonus points system is not there as compared to the other games, as compared to UCL and as compared to FPL as well. I still believe there is good merit in going for creative players as well. I still think not a lot of people are looking there. I think, of course, a lot of people are kind of going towards options players, etc., who are having a significant amount of goal threat, which is, I think, absolutely fine as well. But I think that's definitely one area where we could, look at in terms of what we will or what we will be doing in terms of progressing further in the tournament. I think that is definitely something that we can keep an eye on. No, currently I'm not watching the opening ceremony. I want to, but yeah, not watching it right now. Maybe I'll watch it later because of the stream. But yeah, I hope you guys are watching it. I hope you guys are watching the stream as well. But yeah, in terms of the rules, are you guys clear in terms of the rules, in terms of the substitution rule, in terms of the transfers, in terms of captaincy? Because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of teams, a lot of managers not being very clear in terms of what's going to happen there. And yeah, I think there are some contentious rules written, and I think a lot of people are gonna get really messed up in the head when the shit gets real. I think they should have given out points for the man of the match. I think so too. If not bonus points like FPL, like the 3-2-1 system, I think something that UCL fantasy also follows, having +3 points for man of the match would have been really really good. I just feel that the game is not designed in the most optimum way possible. I think they could have made it a lot better. They could have made it in a much nicer way, where more people would have been engaged, because of the fact that it would have been a lot more simpler, because of the fact that people are so confused about transfers, so confused about substitutions, whether when can we make them, when can we not make them, the overall captaincy situation as well. I just feel it's a bit tricky in terms of you know uh, the overall crowd that they could have had for the game. That's yeah. Let's see. I think it's going to be an interesting tournament, because the fact that we have so many good options, we have so many good young players also coming in. I think we will get some hidden gems from the tournament as well. I think we will also get some players whose stock prices really increase a lot higher after the World Cup, as we generally see every time. But yeah, I think it's going to be the last World Cup for Messi and Ronaldo. And if you guys do, let me know what you think about the picture that has gone viral, where they both have, they're together in a picture on with the chessboard. I think that was a crazy picture. But yeah, I think it's going to be the last World Cup for both of them. So let's see if one of them could win it. I still believe that Messi has a higher chance of winning the World Cup, uh, because the fact that Argentina is a much more rounded side, though Portugal is not a bad team at all. But I just feel Messi and Argentina have been in better form. So yeah, let's see. I think it's going to be interesting. Guys, do let me know if you have any more questions. I think about 45 minutes to go. If not, then we can probably end the stream early as well. I can also uh, get in ready and get in nice and early. Maybe a bit of the opening ceremony as well. But yeah, do let me know if you have any more questions. If you've not checked out our content, make sure you follow us on Instagram. You follow us on YouTube as well. We've been doing, of course, we've been doing FPL. We've been doing World Cup Fantasy as well. We do UCL as well. So in case if you're interested in any of these, fantasy games, etc., I think you should definitely check out the channel. Definitely follow us on Instagram, especially when you are playing World Cup Fantasy, because there's a lot of content that is sometimes not covered in videos, but you can always get that on the Instagram handle. It's at the rate insanely football, so do check that out as well. And yeah, I think lots to come as well. Lot of content, lot of information about. I think next week or the next match day is definitely going to be huge and crazy on the wildcards, and we will have a lot of drafts in place as well. Thoughts on my team? It's Costa, Rochet, Sosa, Trippier, Dumfries, Cancelo, Marquinhos, Olsen, Musiala, Arceta, Perisic, De Bruyne, Messi, Neymar, Afif. I mean, Afif is a good punt if you really want to go there. But yeah, so it's Rochet, Sosa, which is good. Trippier, Dumfries, good. Cancelo, Marquinhos can. How much is Marquinhos? I think he's 6 million, if I'm not wrong. Let me quickly check that. Yeah, I mean it's a decent team. Don't really see any. Market is 5.5, right? So I'm just thinking. I mean, can 5.5. I mean, you can go a little bit lower as well. I mean, you could. Marquinhos is okay. I mean, Brazil defense looks strong, looks good. Could keep a clean sheet for sure. So I think overall it's a decent bench to kind of cover you off in case if any moves don't work out. So I think it's a good team. Like this guy. I mean, yeah, that happened today. And if you followed cricket, I think it was absolutely crazy. And that guy is definitely one of the best T20 batsmen in the world for sure. Hello, sir. What's up? I'm back. Hello to you as well. I hope you've been playing or you are playing UCL Fantasy. I hope your team is ready. In case if you have any questions, etc., do let me know. Always happy to help. How do you feel about Rooney coming to India and commenting about the World Cup? Commentating about the World Cup. Did I miss that though? I mean, yeah, Rooney doing punditry for Indian broadcasters. It's absolutely huge though, right? I mean, you would have not expected that to happen a few years back. Absolutely not, right? But yeah, I think it's good for Indian football. I don't know how that. Yeah, juice in my eye. I just checked that right now. Sitting and commentating. I mean, as a United fan, I'm really happy as watched having watched Rooney for so long. It's a good feeling to be very honest, but yeah. Let's see. I mean, I still really want all this to kind of help us in some way. I don't know how and what, but yeah, just him coming to India and just him commentating with Indian broadcasters and Indian commentators. I think it's a huge deal. It's a huge catch. Want to ask him what he thinks about Ronaldo's interview. I think he recently got an award, right, in Dubai, I think, and he was asked the same question at the award ceremony, and of course he couldn't say a lot at that point of time. Maybe he was instructed not to really talk about it, or maybe he was just trying to be careful in terms of what he's saying. Not sure, but yeah, that Ronaldo's interview has created a huge controversy. I mean, I've seen sides, and I'm conflicted as well in terms of what was right, what was not right, and what should have happened, what should have not happened, etc., etc. And we can sit here and I think we can sit here for days and days and still talk about it and probably not even come to a consensus. But yeah, I I mean, only if he could answer truthfully in terms of what he really thinks, right? That would have been really interesting. As a United fan, would you be happy to see? I mean, uh, it's actually very tricky and very sad. So and then this is a conversation that I've been having with a lot of people as well. Of course, I do not know what's happening behind the scenes. Of course, I do not know what really went behind and what were the conversations that happened, or that happened between Ronaldo and the owners, Ronaldo and the manager. A lot of it is stirred up in the media, and it doesn't really turn out to be true a lot of the times. So of course, not knowing the entire situation, not knowing the entire scenario, it's actually quite difficult to make a right judgment call on this. But yeah, I mean, I'm not happy as a United fan that he's going to leave, because he's been a great player for us. He's loyal to the club. What he did, why he did, maybe he has his reasons, maybe he doesn't have any reasons, maybe he just did that in the thick of the moment. I'm not sure, and I don't know. Considering a United fan, I mean, I expect him. Of course, he is leaving. And I think it's right for the club as well. It's right for him as well, because after getting involved in such a thing, I don't think so. Things can absolutely go back to normal. I mean, I don't see a way of that happening at all. So it's good for the club. We can move on from Ronaldo. We can start investing in a proper number nine. Start looking at the future. Ronaldo was never an option, to be very honest. I didn't really understand why he was signed in the first place to begin with. Uh, and yeah, I just feel that shouldn't have happened. That was a mistake from United as well. But yeah, I would be happy to just see him go, see him play in a different environment where there's a change, where there is not this much toxicity in terms of his teammates maybe not having his back or not having his support, etc. And I just feel it works both ways. I mean, whatever the financials of it would be and all that stuff, of course, as a fan I'm not really concerned about that, but yeah, I just feel it'll be a good change for, I think, both the sides. Pavard and Giroud, or Gakpo or Dumfries. I think it's Gakpo and Dumfries. I know it's maybe investing a little bit too much in the Netherlands team, but I think there is merit and there is value there. Giroud, I'm still not very convinced with, though you're still investing, double up in France. But I feel Gakpo and Dumfries is the option to go for. Pavard is okay. I mean, he could still compete. I mean, you could argue that he could compete with Dumfries in terms of getting a return, in terms of the overall points potential. But I think, I mean, Giroud and Gakpo, I still feel Gakpo is miles ahead at the moment. Giroud is not somebody who you really depend on in terms of scoring a lot of goals. His overall game is really good. His overall play is good. His off the ball movement, etc., is excellent. But I just feel, I mean, as a combination, Gakpo and Dumfries are definitely a lot better. We almost have a template team for game week one, for match day one. Any differentials to consider? What do you think about the last World Cup finalists, Croatia and France? I think France. I spoke about this a little earlier in the stream. I think France is going to struggle a little bit because of so many injuries, because of the fact that Benzema is also not there now, because of the fact that they haven't been in great form just prior to the World Cup. I mean, they did struggle in the games prior to the World Cup. I think they won only one of the last six in the Nations League, and I think the group is okay, but I still feel they're going to struggle a little bit. Croatia is some is a team that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I think there's a lot of potential. There still are a lot of good players who definitely playing their last World Cup, so it's like a last hurrah for them. And I think they will go deeper in the tournament. I have a feeling. So yeah, let's see. In terms of differentials, right? In terms of I think going with differentials, I mean, Perisic is definitely a good differential, 6.5 percent owned, so that's not really high at all. Depends on what position you're looking. To be very honest, if you're looking at a midfielder, I think there is Sarabia as well. I think he is also somebody that not a lot of people are considering at the moment. I think he could be a great option. In terms of going for a defender, let's say you could go cheaper. You could go for different options. Let's say you could go for Catch, for example, who's also pretty cheap. I think only 4 million and 3.8 or 4% own. So that's an option. In case if you feel that you want to go towards an Argentinian defender, there's Otamendi at 3%. So a lot of different options. You could go for Estupinian as well from Ecuador, 2.5 percent, 4.5 million in price point. So yeah, lot of options to look at, which are probably being ignored by a lot of people. Ferran Torres, let's say for example, if you're looking for a budget striker, I think Ferran Torres is a good option. If you're looking for a slightly more round, I think Gakpo is also there. I think he's about 4 or 5% owned. I'm not sure how much, but something around that. I think yeah, these are some decent differentials to start off, and then you, again, depending on what position, what teams, are there any specific teams that you're looking at, are there any specific positions you're looking at, you can go different ways. Headline stream for this, I mean, yeah, why not? Who was a tougher group, Croatia or Spain? Hmm. I think for Croatia, the only difficult fixture is going to be Belgium. I think, I mean, that is definitely where things could go, interesting, could go in different directions. When we talk about Spain, I still. Sorry for that. I think I lost you guys for a second. I hope the stream is back. But I was talking about who has a tougher group. So Croatia only has a trickier fixture in Belgium, to be very honest. When we talk about Spain, you know, I mean, Spain is a little difficult to predict, to be very, very honest. I mean, you have Germany, you have Japan as well. I would say that Spain has a slightly trickier group out of the two. I think Croatia is it's not a huge difference, but I think Japan could be a decent fixture. I still expect Spain to win that game, but I think Spain is has a slightly trickier group. It's not much by much though, to be very honest. There's about half an hour to go. We'll stick around for a few minutes in case if you don't have more questions, we can end the stream a little early today. Will Munir play? Um, I think so. I think there are chances that he starts. And if you're taking a punt on a Belgium defender, it's just the fact that he's 6 million, right? I mean, at 6 million, you can possibly look at somebody like a Dumfries. You could look at Cancelo. I think they are still the better options out there. If you're gonna go in that punting category, I think you can still go Munir. I think he's gonna start, but I just feel there are better options. But yeah, to answer your question, I think he will start. There's Castagna as well, right? So there is, I mean, there is competition. There are slightly different options as well. Castagna is slightly cheaper, but again, minutes could be an issue there as well. Just because the fact that you're spending a premium amount of money, I think you can get options who are more nailed. To be very honest, I think Senegal are too strong to get a clean sheet against. I mean, Senegal without Mane, maybe, maybe not, not sure. But yeah, I mean, Mane is going to be a huge loss, right? Though they are a good team. I mean, they're probably one of the best teams, which are not the big hitting teams or the premium teams. I still feel they are a good side, but yeah, without Mane, I think it's going to be a bit tricky. Guys, if you have any more questions, we'll stick around for a few minutes as more. Otherwise, we'll end the stream a little early today. Hopefully we have a lot more dilemmas, a lot more confusion in match 2. I think it's going to be a lot more chaotic. But yeah, do stick around, do stay around in terms of updates, in terms of what transfers, if we've gotten the rules wrong, etc. I mean, just make sure that you're on the top of things. You know when the teams are playing, you know when the matches are, and then you can make your changes accordingly. I think if you're gonna play or if you're gonna enjoy fantasy properly, I think that's definitely the way to go. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done that so far. Make sure you hit the like button as well. If you enjoyed the stream today, if you found this useful, we'll be doing this for the whole tournament. We'll be doing this for the whole month. We also did this for the Euros. It was a really good tournament for us. We do FPL as well, so in case if you've been playing, do follow us for that as well. In case if you have any more questions, happy to help, happy to answer anything at all. Otherwise, all the best for match day 1. I hope you have a great match day. I hope you see all the games and do try to get in majority or at least the highlights of games if you can, because I think that's also going to be very helpful in making decisions future in the future in the game as well, right? And I think it's going to be a good tournament. A lot of exciting teams, a lot of exciting players to watch. The whole spectacle of the World Cup, I know it's been overshadowed by a lot of other things that's been happening off the field, but I think it's still a lot of fun, and it's going to be a promising one. Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was helpful. I hope I was able to answer your questions. and we will be doing this very very soon. I'll try to do a stream. Let's see if we can do a stream midweek as well. Other than that, otherwise we will possibly just put out some updates on Instagram channel, or maybe do a video as well, right? Great. All the best. Have a good time. Do watch the matches, and I will see you guys very very soon. Bye bye.